Like, I liked the first, like, 3/4. Is that a fraction?
Yes, it is. What?
There's a little tritone in there.
To silence screaming resurrected.
I'm your host, Jordan Gradell.
And I'm Patrick Hill. I don't know if you can tell, there's like a delay, so I sound like a drunk bastard already.
I don't have a delay, so I will be keeping you in check for this episode.
Take myself out of isolation mode so it's not so weird.
Isolation. But welcome back, everybody. We missed you so much.
Hi. I love you. I miss
blessings. I hope you all had a wonderful Halloween. Let us know what you were. What you dressed up as. Did you go more of the scary route or did you go more of like the slutty route?
What'd you do?
I dressed up like I was going to a funeral.
Oh, that's right, because it was my birthday. Did you do another costume or is that your Halloween?
Well, I did have a little game night with some of my work colleagues and I dressed up as like the 5th member of the craft.
Yeah, I wasn't invited to that. I'm kidding. You did invite me,
Well, you
actually.
don't work with me anymore, but...
You also did invite me, though.
I
you
did?
Yeah,
Oh.
you said, if you want to come, you won't know anybody, but...
I think you already had like you had like 3 Halloween parties.
I had plans.
You had plans. You're too busy for me. That's okay.
I will say, so I had a 30th birthday that was a funeral-themed party, a funeral for my 20s. And Jordan, your outfit was great.
Oh,
it was amazing. You even did like the tear makeup.
Yeah.
You like threw the extra effort in there.
I did.
And I will say, for the audience's benefit, I think the party lasted from 7:30 till 3 in the morning.
Oh my goodness.
And I don't remember anything after about 10.
Okay, perfect. Because that's about the time I left.
Yeah, I actually don't remember saying goodbye to you. So
I Irish goodbyed. And
That's okay.
It was great. We saw so many people that I hadn't seen in a long time. So it was really fun.
It was a fun time.
I just was, and I think you can relate to this, but there are just some days where like I can socialize and like be...
You're like overstimmied.
It was just a really stressful weekend. And I think by the time 10 o'clock hit, I was just like, I am on E. Like I'm running on fumes, and I could tell you like you had plenty of friends. You were in good hands.
I was barely conscious, so
I was like, he's home. Like I don't have to worry about you drinking and driving. Like you're in a safe space. You have all these wonderful people around you. So I did say bye to you, but then I think I said goodbye to like 2 or 3 other people, and then I was like, we're just gonna
so you
sneak
only
out.
partially Irish exited. So you're like Irish American exited.
Yeah, pretty much.
I also, before I blacked out, I like was in that anxiety mode where I was like, all these people are here, and like I know most of them. I actually didn't know some people that were there. I told people to bring friends, so that's okay. It's my fault. But I was in that mode where I was like, I need to make everyone feel like they're having a good time.
Yeah, you were very worried about the food table.
Was I?
You were like, well, because if you know me, you know I'm going to be by the food table. And you came over and you're like, oh, I'm so glad that y'all are eating all of this food, because apparently Gen Zers, no one eats at parties. And then Mason and I were just like scarfing the little charcuterie board he had.
I'm
displayed.
so glad.
I know you were.
I'm so glad, because I did have that fear. At first I was like going to drop even more money on that table. And then I was like, you know what? These little young bitches
they're
aren't
not
going to
grateful.
touch this.
But see, that's the thing. I feel like if you're going to host a party, like you have to have some sort of snack or food or like something, especially if people are going to be drinking. And like and to me, I justify it where I'm going to get snacks that I like. I don't really care if everyone else likes it, because at the end of the day, worst case scenario, no one eats it. And then I just can eat all of it afterwards.
We did learn at the party, I don't know if you were there at this point, that in a pinch,
ASMR.
A Cheeto Puff serves as a great chaser for tequila.
Wow.
And probably other liquors, but definitely tequila.
I wonder why. It's just like the salty, like savory powder on it, like absorbs into the tongue.
Like attacks all elements of your mouth, so you can't even think about it.
You know, I do think that food is an underrated chaser. I think everyone thinks a chaser should be another liquid, but perhaps we should
lean into that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Let's lean hard into the Cheeto.
Lean hard. Well, I'm about to have another party pretty soon because the holidays are coming up. Yay! And I'm having a happy holiday party where it's
saw that.
Sexy Christmas
What
or
day
sexy
is that?
holiday. The 2nd
Of December?
I think so.
Oh, I'm out of town. I'm at a bachelorette party.
How dare
I know. I have a bachelorette party. It's a Saturday, right?
I think so. No, it's Friday.
I'm still going to be at a bachelorette party. I leave town Friday and I come back Sunday morning.
Wow. Well, now I'm sad. Anyways, on to the podcast.
Yes, that's why you're all here.
We are your ASMR comedy horror podcast where we talk about horror movies and get drunk. We're drinking a, what did I call it? Axe to the face, or the dog bite.
Dog bite.
This is the dog bite. This is tequila Espolón and grenadine and cranberry seltzer, and that's it.
No. The moonshine cherry juice.
Oh, and moonshine cherries for color. Well, not the cherry. It's just the cherry juice.
It definitely gave it a nice cough syrup taste, though.
Very cough syrup.
Thank you for that.
Notes of medicine. But yeah, because we are talking about the I thought incredible horror movie that came out this year called When Evil Lurks. When Evil Lurks, directed by Demian Raguna and written by Demian Raguna. I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong. It's an Argentinian film.
Yeah.
Initial thoughts. Jordan, you watched it today.
You know what? I did watch it today. I think it was one of the ones that we saw on TikTok, right?
Where everyone was like, oh my God.
See, that's the thing about TikTok. Like, anytime I watch a movie that TikTok
Hypes.
really wants me to watch, I'm most of the time disappointed. But this one did not disappoint me. I will say that I did try to watch it while I was trying to work, but I didn't realize it.
That was when you saw
I didn't
10
realize
the other
that it
day.
was not in English. So
I did that the other day with Nun too. I think I accidentally had it in Spanish for some reason.
Oh.
And I watched it for like 7 minutes before I realized it was
You're
not
like,
in English.
oh, because you thought that was just like part of the scene.
I just thought it was like setting the scene.
Ooh.
Like, ooh, Spanish.
And so I was like, oh man, do they have like a voiceover so I can like listen and work at the same time? And they didn't. So I had to like watch it in like
Spurts.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? My initial thoughts was I really enjoyed it. Like I probably never would have watched it unless you had like told me to watch it, but I'm really glad I did.
Yeah. I think because of the TikTok thing, truly expected it to suck. Because now when people are like, it's the best horror movie I've ever seen, I'm like, so it sucks. You're a liar.
Yeah.
You're being paid.
You're a liar. And
But
that's
this
not
one,
cool.
I was pleasantly surprised. Also, I was very disturbed. There were several scenes where I was like,
yeah. It had the shock value.
so much shock.
It was
There was
great.
a couple times where it was like, too much shock.
Okay, here's what I'll say about that. Like, I liked the first, like, 3/4. Is that a fraction?
Yes, it is. That's up there with Alaska as an island.
Is that a fraction?
Is that a fraction?
I don't know if it made sense. Yeah, but I liked the majority of the film. The ending was, I didn't really like the ending. I feel like it drug out a little bit.
And it was kind of,
It was right? Like the first part of the film, we like hit the ground running, a lot of shock, a lot of just things that surprised me. I think they did a really great job of like having a normal scene where you're not really expecting anything crazy to happen. And then when it does, it's just like a really nice surprise. And
for sure.
I think they got the gore right. I feel like there was like enough of that. But then at the end, I was like I wanted more. I wanted more of that.
Yeah. There was a couple reveals at the end that I was like not surprised about. I was like, okay. Like the hair in the mouth. I was like, we already know.
Yeah. It was a little too over the head, maybe.
Yeah. I think as soon as they arrived back at the house and the son was there and the grandma was not, I was like, probably.
I think my gag reflex is just like really sensitive today because not only when we just took that shot, I would like I almost vomited in my mouth, but during that scene with the hair coming out of his mouth, I was audibly gagging as well.
Yeah, it was gross. The scene that made me, I mean, that's literally all I can say is nothing. Just like stare blankly into space. My roommate and I both just stared and had to pause it. I actually had to rewind it because he was in the kitchen at the time. And I was like,
no,
I was like, if I'm going to be traumatized by this, so are you.
Which one?
Was the scene where the brother comes upon the mom walking with the son.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
This movie was like, what are boundaries? Like,
well, and we've talked about this before. It's like the kids typically, I think we talked about this with Evil Dead. Like the kids are typically like
safe.
Yeah, they have that plot armor on.
None of these children.
Don't get attached to any of the children.
The dog scene early on, I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah, I wasn't. Again, that's one of the scenes where I was just watching and I was like, okay, like this is like a scene that I can probably zone out through. And then that happened. I was like, oh.
Like, oh. I will say, one, I thought the premise was really cool because it was like this world where we've all mutually agreed and understand that demons are real.
Yeah.
Like everyone's on that page. Except for now, like they haven't seen one in a while. So
do you feel like that's a cultural thing though? Because I do feel like that is more.
I don't know. I thought it was the implication belief. Was that everyone knows.
In the movie or like in real life in like South America? That's
no. Like in the movie.
Okay. Oh.
Because they had like a whole like whatever Argentina's equivalent of the CDC is that like goes out and like dispatches the
spiritual
runs.
police. Oh,
basically. Well, they use that whatever that golden tool is to like stab them.
Yeah, that part was kind of cheesy to me.
We never got to like see it in action, but I liked the idea of a world where like we don't spend half the movie going, monsters aren't real. That's not real.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, fuck, monsters are real. And this one, it was like, monsters are real. We moved out of the city because that's where they are. And there might be one here, but like no one is going to believe that it's now in our town.
Right.
But we acknowledge that they're real.
I see. Yeah.
But I do think that some of the plot kind of got lost throughout. I was kind of like,
yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Where are we going?
To me, though, the plot was not important.
No.
In order to enjoy the film.
No.
I think what made the film enjoyable is all of those scenes that just catch you by surprise.
Mm-hmm.
And I think and I know everybody's different, but I do think for the majority of people that are into horror, I think that that's what we look for. Like the plot and maybe this is just me, is neither here or there. Like you could have like a good plot, but like, or maybe you have a shitty plot, but if you get like the jump scenes right and like you get the gore right and like visually it's something that captures your attention. I'm much more forgiving of a bad plot than I am like, did it make me uncomfortable? Yes or no?
Right. Yeah. It got me because like usually in a movie, like I'm not about to trust anyone.
Yeah.
And the scenes in the schoolhouse where they're like, look at all these scary ass children. And there was that one girl who was like, don't come in here. Like, no, it's not, they want to kill you. I like believed her the whole time. I was like, you're good. You're like the one good one. Somehow like you're immune to this, but she wasn't.
Oh yeah. She got you.
She got me.
Too. Mm-hmm.
All in all though, I like had a really great time. I was pleasantly disturbed.
Yeah.
I thought the acting was really good. I thought the characters were fucking stupid. Like in every horror movie. I'm like...
The character choices made no sense.
No.
Like none of the characters did what any logical person would do.
Nope.
And that's the thing. I think when you really break it down, like was it a great horror movie? No. But it had the elements that like, again, it goes back to like, I can forgive all of that if I enjoyed myself while I was watching it.
I think it had the elements of like a good horror in the sense of like setting and like style and tension building.
Yeah.
But I think that there were still some things missing for sure. It's definitely better than a horror movie that I watched last night.
What did you watch last night?
Did you already watch Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey?
No. But we talked about us wanting to watch it. I just never got around to it.
I watched it last night.
Oh, I mean, I assumed it was terrible. That's why I haven't watched it.
PSA to anyone who's still listening at this point. Don't waste your time. It's truly some of the worst acting. Mainly just acting and writing. I wouldn't say there were any scares in there. There was some gore that was like, okay. I can't even. There was a scene where the premise is like Winnie the Pooh. You know, not that part, but like there's these girls in a house that I think are there for like a bachelorette weekend or something. I don't even remember. Always a fucking bachelor. Oh, speaking of,
yeah.
And Winnie the Pooh and Piglet come in, harass them and kill them all, or start killing them all. There's a scene where two of the girls are hiding, and they're hiding like upstairs, like behind the banister of the stairs, and like you can see clear as day like that they are there, and and Pooh is downstairs, and they're literally at this volume going, "Hey, he's inside," and the other girl's like, "Shh, shh, 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 shh," and they're like, "Oh my god, how did he get in here? Oh my god!" And then there's one scene where there's like blood writing on the window, and they're like, "I think I see someone outside." They're like, "It must have been the same guy who wrote this on the window."
What?
Why did we need that in the plot? There was just so much dialogue that I was like,
maybe it was one of those movies that was written by AI.
It could have been, for sure.
Well, now I want to watch it.
It's bad.
Just for a good laugh.
There are titties too, so like, you know, with any bad horror movie, you always have boobs at some point. I don't know why that's always like in there. They're like, you want something out of this, I guess. So here's a boob.
Which I don't get it. I mean, like, everybody has boobs. But apparently, well, maybe I just don't like, never mind. I didn't realize that there were some people that have innies as like nipples. Like innies.
I didn't know that either.
Like, I didn't realize that. I'm like, maybe I just like haven't seen enough porn. I don't know.
That's a lesson you
learned. The reason
watch more porn, Jordan.
Well, yeah, like I'll think about that. But the reason it came up, this is of course me going off topic again, but we were talking about the new Skims built-in nipple bra. Yeah. Have you seen that? Mm-hmm. So weird. Like, why? I mean, she has to be trolling us, but like we were talking about that, and we were like, why would anyone want to buy that or wear that? And then someone brought it up. Well, maybe it's for the people that don't have nipples.
Well, I know that like people who've had like mastectomies might not have nipples because they like, some people opt to like when they have their boobies cut off to have removed. They might like have the shape but not like the nip.
Oh, but I feel like not even just as a woman, but people in general, like I was wearing a shirt the other day and it had like a built-in bra, and I was like nipping, and someone was like, "Jordan, you're nipping." I'm like, first of all, I don't care. I personally don't care because we all have nipples, but I think some people are like more embarrassed by that. So to me, it's surprising that now Kim Kardashian is trying to advocate for like nipping, which again, I don't really care either way. It's just so weird.
Choice.
It's very weird.
I will say, every time I think about nipping, I start nipping.
Yeah.
It's like,
are you nipping right now?
Yes.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how hard are your nipples right now?
They're like a solid like 7.
I can't really tell. I have a bra on with some padding, but I don't think I'm nipping.
This is really good content.
I normally nip when I'm cold, and then I usually nip when I like am touching my nipples.
I nip 99% of the time. Just all the time.
I see it now.
They're always present.
See? But like I don't know. There's just like a weird stigma around it, which there shouldn't be. But
there is a weed stigma.
Anyway, sorry not to get us off the rails.
That's okay. And we talked about the movie. What else do we want to say about this movie?
I would say if I was going to rate it a 1 out of 10, I would give it like a 7.
Mm-hmm. I would say 7 or 8, somewhere in there.
Okay.
I'd agree with you.
Yeah. I think like here's the thing. I think to me, this is like in my brain how I would describe it. It's like a fixer-upper, but they did a really great paint job. But like there's some like foundational issues with it.
I also have some questions about the axe scene.
We never really got clarification on that, did we?
So one of the things in the movie was like, don't shoot the demons, because if you shoot them, then it'll pass to you.
Right. And if you want to kill it, you need to like kill it with the golden thing,
or
an
like
axe, or like bludgeon
something.
it.
Yeah, I guess something not a gun.
And you can't have like electricity.
Yeah.
Around the demon, there's like all these rules.
And did you notice that the rules that they establish, almost none of them listen ever to them?
Well,
They
that doesn't
literally
surprise
were
me.
like-
That's kind of like every horror movie ever. No one ever does what they should do.
The grandma's literally like, don't use flashlights. And then
Fleshlights?
Don't use flashlights. Yeah. And then they go to sleep with that little nightlight in the room. And I'm like, girl,
Idiots.
you're the one who told us the rules. Yeah, it was quite fucked.
Yeah, that scene was good though. That's another scene where I thought the scene was over when he shot the demon, shot the goat, whatever, and then out of nowhere, like
Wife is like,
and then to like add another layer to it, then she started axing her own face.
I think my question was that her being like, we have to kill ourselves because the demon's gonna get us,
or was it the demon?
or was she already the demon when she did that? Because I cannot imagine having the physical, mental, psychological, emotional fortitude to axe myself in the face multiple times.
So because takes place like towards the beginning of the movie, I don't think I really like had thought much about it. I thought it was just her. But now that you say it, I think it might have been the demon, because I don't think she would have offed herself.
Well, I thought,
one, that quickly, but two, she's pregnant.
Oh yeah, true. And I feel like just logistically, if you hit yourself in the face with an axe one time, I don't think you can hit yourself again in the face.
I think you would like pass away from shock. Like you would pass out from shock
immediately.
Yeah.
Like pass out. So that's why I was like, I guess it has to be a demon.
Yeah. I like that theory too. I didn't think about it until you just brought it up, but that makes sense to me.
Yeah. Wow. Well, yeah, I feel. The director also wrote another movie, or I guess director / writer, Damian. He wrote another movie that I've seen on TikTok a lot that I've never watched called Terrified.
Oh yeah,
I haven't seen that one either. Mm-hmm.
I think I did see. I don't remember it, but I feel like I
heard it was also very good.
It's got a solid rating. I think it's got like, for a horror movie, I think it got like anything like in the 6s, I feel like.
It's a 6.5.
Yeah.
What did this one have? This one has, for your information, 7.0.
Oh yeah, I did see that today.
What is it on Rotten Tomatoes? Wow. Holy shit. Okay.
Terrible?
No, very high. The audience score is 80%.
Oh, for this one.
For this one.
When Evil Lurks.
The critic score is 99%.
I don't think I agree with that.
I don't know.
I'm going to say something that might be controversial to our listeners and to you, but I trust IMDb more than I trust Rotten Tomatoes.
I understand that. Rotten Tomatoes, I feel like sometimes I very strongly agree, and sometimes I'm like, what movie were you watching?
No.
Like, I don't holistically disagree with that. Like, I think this movie had some really good qualities, and like, again, I had a really good time. And maybe like some film bro would explain to me why it's like a masterpiece, but like, I didn't get that after.
I didn't either. I don't think the acting was bad, but I don't think it was anything to write home about.
I don't know. I enjoyed the performances.
Again, it wasn't bad, but I wasn't like, oh my God, that one guy in that movie.
Well, it was better than Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
I mean, yeah, I could have told you that without even watching either of them. It's called Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I don't know really know what you're expecting.
They're making a sequel in 2024.
Huh?
Making a Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
They are? Why would they do that?
Because...
For funsies?
Funsies. If you like this episode, you should rate, review, and subscribe. Mm-hmm. You should become our friends on Instagram and TikTok and in real life. You should donate to our alcohol bar.
Oh, yes, we have a little bar cart
as you
now.
could probably see in... And this is my bar cart, but what I mean is donate alcohol for us to drink on the show. Thank you.
If you'd like to be on the show and drink with us and talk about creepy, spooky things, let us know that too.
Please do. Please be on the show with us. Even if you don't like horror movies, we'll make you watch just one so you could talk about it. And then you don't have to watch anymore. Rate, review, subscribe, follow us, and email us at silentscreamingpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep. And don't drink and podcast.
Good night.
Sleep tight.
Don't let the axe hit you in the face when your wife who's pregnant hits you with it.
My mother used to always say that before I went to bed.
It's an old
Classic
nursery rhyme, you know. Goodbye.